अर्चित अर्चित गुलजार साहब ने लिखा है और कहा भी है, काफी मशहूर कहा लेखनी है, क्या जो भी बोल सकते हो उसको यार। एंड ही सेज, सरहद के उस पार से कुछ मेहमान आए, कुछ तो नहीं, एक मेहमान तो आए हैं। पोटली में मेहमान मेरे पिछले साल की फसलों का गुड़ लाए हैं। तो लेट्स आस्क बिलाल कि बिलाल पिछले साल का, इस साल का, कोई भी साल का गुड़ गुड़ लेके आया यार? बिना गुड़ के आ गए?
मैं खुद आ गया।
स्यापा। तो आज है बिलाल, और बिलाल आए हैं हमारे पास सरहद पार से। बिफोर इंट्रोडक्शन हो अर्चित साहब, उसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दिया गया अर्चित के ऊपर। बिफोर वी इंट्रोड्यूस बिलाल, अपनी अपनी बिल्कुल उर्दू की डिक्शनरियां खोल लीजिए, रेख्ता की वेबसाइट को लॉग इन कर लीजिए, बिकॉज आज तो हम उर्दू में ही बातें नहीं, हम तो गुफ्तगू करने वाले हैं आज।
Fantastic. So, just to introduce Bilal. So, Bilal Hassan is a doctor by profession and education. On the side, he also works as a photojournalist and a travel culture writer. He's published and featured. He's been published and featured in Vice, Guardian, the Toronto Star, Al Jazeera, Gulf News, to name a few. He's also co-founded Pakistan's first guided tour bus in Karachi called the Super Sawari Express. Recently, he also went on to host his own food and travel themed podcast on Patari, a local streaming platform. While being a foodie himself, he's also a fitness junkie and always on the lookout for hearty yet healthy local food options, which, by the way, Bilal, all of us are in the same boat with that. Bilal also, in his spare time, enjoys traveling to off-beaten tracks of the country and writing and collecting currencies from all over the world. Now he's currently in the process of compiling a coffee table book, which he'll talk about later in the show, which we'll ask him about. So, absolute honor to have you on the show, Bilal.
Thank you so much for having me.
अरे ऐसे कैसे बोलते हैं, हमें ऐसे नहीं किया गया है। प्लीज, थैंक यू क्या होता है? ऐसे उर्दू में निकलता कुछ ऐसे।
शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत मेहरबानी जनाब, मुझे
अपनी तशरीफ लाने के लिए शुक्रिया जनाब।
तशरीफ तो वो लाए, तशरीफ तो वो लेके आए। हाँ, तो ऐसी बातें होगी हमारी जनाब। अच्छा, दो चार बार जनाब हो गए, जिनको जिनको अपने आप को झपाट लगाना लगा ले।
Especially if you're a Bollywood writer, please stop saying Janab all the time stop scripting Janab for Pakistani people in Bollywood movies.
जनाब, आपके मुस्तकबिल में अभी एक करारा चमाट लिखा हुआ है।
इतना अदाब कर रहे हो कि ऐसे बाइसेप कर्ल्स हो जाएं।
यही
तभी तो बाइसेप्स बनी है। पूरा दिन अदाब करते हो।
एक्सक्यूज आपने एक्सक्यूज दे दी हमें।
यही सीक्रेट है, वो यही है कि डंबल्स लेके ऐसे आदाब 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 करते हो तो कर्ल्स बन जाते हैं।
we were researching for this podcast, Bilal. By researching we mean stalking, as our listeners know. And I found this wonderful green drink on your Instagram called Pakola, and that's something I'd never heard about. And you mentioned that Pakistan independence के time पे around 1950 में Pakistan Air Force base में लियाकत अली खान ने ये drink का invention किया था या start किया था. And I googled it and I realized it is Pakistani cola. I didn't realize that the first time I read it. So tell us more about it. Yeah,
it's green. I mean, I feel like it's like also like a part of, you know, like जो nation building एक होती है थोड़ी सी, आप लोगों के ऊपर वो करते हो कि oh, we need to give you a national drink, like we really needed that, but still weird flex. But it's literally just green. It looks like Hulk juice. ठीक है, that's what it looks like. It's like neon green, and but it's really really sweet. उसका flavor is like ice cream soda flavor, and it's but with that being said, when it's like peak summer, जब कराची की कुत्ती गर्मी होती है जैसे हम कहते हैं, जब like it's like 48 degrees and like it's like 79 to 80% humidity, you want nothing more than just like एक ठंडी पाकोला. I mean, it will like दिमाग सब खुल जाता है आपका उससे. Other than that, we also sometimes put it in milk. वो रमजान के अंदर, that's one thing. So like you put it like in cold milk and everything. It has a lot of nostalgia because you grow up drinking pakola. So like yeah, but another interesting thing about it is the pakola is very popular in South Pakistan, which is where I live in, like Karachi and everything. So and people in Lahore and everything don't particularly like it, okay? And it comes back to the whole city rivalry thing between Karachi and Lahore, because they both feel like, because they're both very huge cities. Like Karachi is like around, I think, 21, 22 million people. Lahore is like another 11 to 14 million. So it's huge. They're both really big. So each of them has this thing to stand out. And Lahoris are very predominantly Punjabi, so like very strong personality, and they're like, nahi, we are, and they have like a much longer history than us. Like they're thousands of years, Mughals and everything. We're fairly new, 200-300 years. Hamara jo culture is, we're very much cosmopolitan, like people from all four corners come here, financial capital and all that stuff. Khair, long story short, though, like we have this thing to like stand out with one another. So Lahore mein they have something called doodh soda. So like in milk they put in Sprite or 7-Up, and we kind of think it's gross. We're like, nee, doodh pakola is better. They're like, no, pakola is gross, man. It's really sweet. It'll make you fat. I was like, हाँ, but तुम लोग तो चने खाते हो सुबह में, चने और पूरियां खाते हो, like like yeah. So it is like that. Like so we're like always constantly arguing, bickering with one another. Like we are better. They know we are better.
I have to tell you that my grandfather is from Lahore, so I'll have to take the other side. So I'll have to favor chana puri.
What's weird for me? My grandfather was from Delhi, so like identity crisis है major यहाँ.
लो जी.
So Karachi, Delhi, ठीक है.
एक मिनट, ये जबरदस्ती का फिर लोग मुझे क्यों बोल रहे हैं why go to Pakistan? अर्चित पुरी आप निकलिए, चलिए. मैं किधर आया भाई? देखो, हमारे वाले आए थे अफगानिस्तान से, और हम मतलब सदियों पुराने, ग्रैंडफादर नहीं, उनसे पहले वाले, और हम आके बिल्कुल बिहार में रह गए थे. तो हम बिहार से कहीं निकले ही नहीं है. तो हम बिहार में ही रहे. बिहार अभी तो दिल्ली में आ गए हैं. तो हम क्यों निकले? हम तो कहीं नहीं जा रहे. अर्चित चलो तुम निकलो, और तुम बिलाल इधर आ जाओ.
ओके ठीक है. एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम.
Go back to India. Go back to Pakistan.
हम जैसे वो करते नहीं, मूवीज में करते हैं ना, when you kidnap somebody, like पहले हमारी वाली लड़की निकलेगी, फिर आप अपनी लड़की भेजिए, ऐसे करके. तो हमारा लड़का पहले जाएगा, फिर वहां से लड़का आ जाएगा. तो but interestingly when you talk about, right, कि कराची और लाहौर में हमेशा there's a fight that who is better. Not who is better, but let's whatever fight.
We have like things about like we have very specific things के हमारा ये बेहतर है, हमारा वो बेहतर है, and everything. So like in Karachi, I think now they even agree that the food is better in Karachi, and like they will agree. Trust me, they will agree. ठीक है.
We will check that.
Like we'll check. Because हमारा खाना में, but we also admit we're like Lahore overall has better infrastructure. उनके पास metro है, हमारे पास नहीं है, ठीक है. So really? Like these are like Lahore has like a full-fledged metro system, and they have like हमारे पास वो skeleton buses फिर रही होती है, like so वो हमारा mass transit system है, ठीक है. So they have better infrastructure. We admit that they have better city. लोग as far as हम कहते हैं हमारे बेहतर, वो कहते हैं उनके बेहतर है, ठीक है. So yeah.
But I would assume like, because Karachi is more quote unquote modern, and also like the,
yes,
city capital and all the like finance is there. Islamabad is also there, but I would assume that Karachi will have metro. So I have also heard that tuk tempo, what is that called? Some जिसकी सिर्फ जो पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट है वो सिर्फ आवाज का, हाँ, चिंची जो सब कुछ आवाज करता है उसके अंदर.
वो सब वो एक अजीब सी एक रिक्शा होती है, एक बड़ी एक रिक्शा नहीं होती, एक भयानक सी एक बड़ी रिक्शा होती है, लाइक और उस रिक्शा की उसके दरवाजे भी होते हैं, और अजीब ही चीज है. लाइक वो यू जस्ट हैव टू सी इट टू बिलीव इट, ठीक है. लाइक वो उसके वो साइकिल भी होती है, रिक्शा भी है, वो गाड़ी भी है. अजीब सी डायनासोर टाइप सी चीज है जो सड़क पे नजर आती है, ठीक है. सो या इट्स आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द, यू टेक इट इफ यू नीड टू गो टू लाइक द इनर सिटी एंड एवरीथिंग, जहां बहुत ही लाइक अजीब किस्म का जलील किस्म का ट्रैफिक होता है एंड एवरीथिंग. सो लाइक तो आप कहते हो नहीं यार मैं ड्राइव नहीं करूंगा, या वॉक करना भी मसला है, ठीक है, तो आप चिंची ले लेते हो. तो वो एक अजीब डायनासोर जो ना वो अंदर आपको ले जाता है एंड एवरीथिंग.
So old or the inner Karachi would be what part? Like what I know is like one is a defense area where all the burger bachchis are.
Yes, and represent.
So and then there's inner. So what is the inner Karachi?
Inner Karachi Sadr, like that's what you call it, ठीक है. मगर Sadr is a huge area, like almost like 3-4 million people just live there, ठीक है. So एक वो शहर ही हो गया, ठीक है. उसी के अंदर आपके different quarters हैं. So there's like the Catholic quarter है, फिर Catholic से आप बाहर निकलोगे आपका दाऊदी बोरा quarter है, फिर आपका पारसी quarter है जहाँ पारसी community रहती है and everything. फिर इधर ही एक colonial एक cluster है जहाँ बहुत सारी वो हमारे आबाओ अजदाद गोरे जो हमारे छोड़ के गए थे, ठीक है. तो उनकी बिल्डिंग्स हैं काफी, ठीक है. और उसी के अंदर बीच में कहीं बाजार चल रहे होते. सो लाइक इट्स दिस chaotic beautiful mess, ठीक है. But like it's not for everyone. Like if someone, कई दफा if I have friends coming from like smaller towns or smaller parts of this country and everything, so like I tell them like they get really like it's like sensory overload, ठीक है. Because like इतना लोग एकदम से यहाँ वहाँ कोई रुकता नहीं है किसी के लिए यहाँ, and so like they get really overwhelmed because they're used to like the more like slow paced life and everything. Karachi is like really fast, like really like so yeah, it can get a lot.
This just sounds like Puran Delhi to me, like because Puran Delhi is similar with so many people.
And if you want to compare to Mumbai,
then Dharavi.
Yeah, Mumbai has a Mohammadi Road which is very similar, very chaotic. Although Mumbai anyway is chaotic, but Mohammad Ali Road is extra chaotic, and Mohammad Ali Road also has a Bhori Mohalla, so that's also another similarity.
And they're all very like mishmash, joined with one another somehow. If you go like on a Sunday, I really like going there on a Sunday because Sunday को वो church service होती है, तो वहाँ से nuns और वो father आ रहे होते हैं, लोग in their Sunday best. फिर साथ में जो बोरी लोग community होती है वो लोग जा रहे होते हैं to their mosque. So like Karachi is also the most diversity in Pakistan, so you see a lot of that diversity over here. In comparison आपको दूसरे शहरों में इतनी नहीं नजर आती. कराची में it's very visible, and एक level of tolerance भी बहुत है यहाँ with for one another, which is what makes the city like very beautiful and everything, what makes me like it a lot more. And I feel like that's why a lot of people from other parts of the country like to come to Karachi to work once in their life, although they know that life over here is very difficult because it's very cutthroat. Like just like Pakistan and New York wala वही वाला हिसाब है, ठीक है. आपको you'll have to pay a ton of shitload money just to get like a shoebox or something, ठीक है. Like life is tough here, but they want to come here एक दफा just to get like like the big city wala जो life and like वो वाला scene.
Yeah, nice. I mean, when you're defining it, bits of it sounding like Delhi, bits of it sounding like Bombay, Mumbai. How it's the same thing when you go to Mumbai. You have like that you want to live there, and also I think Mumbai and Karachi both have beaches, so much of similarities. Now back to food. How do you then define Karachi food, especially when you're talking about so much of diversity? So what's the food like in Karachi, and how is it different than the overall Pakistan?
The thing is, Karachi का जो food है, like in one thing it's known to be very spicy, ठीक है. And majority Pakistan does not exactly eat a lot of spicy food, ठीक है. Karachi का खाना जो है is known to be like a notch above, ठीक है. Specifically जो in Pashtun culture, which is like जो Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the Peshawar area, Quetta wala side, they vehemently hate spicy food. Like they can't even tolerate itna sa bhi like spice. Like आप दाल में भी थोड़ी मिर्चें डाल दो, दिल हम नहीं खाए जाते, बहुत मिर्चें इसके अंदर, ठीक है. Even dal, like simple dal. We, on the other hand, eat a lot of spicy food. So हमारी जो बिरयानी होती है, Karachi is known for its biryani. So biryani is very, like I call it like the holy trinity Karachi ka, which is nihari, biryani, halim, which is 3 things, ठीक है. All of them are really spicy, ठीक है. उसके बाद then comes the street stuff, which is like आपका एक पराठा रोल होता है, उसके अंदर like it's like a barbecue piece of meat होता है, and it's rolled into a paratha, ठीक है. Not one bit healthy. You eat that when you are feeling horrible about your life, you go have a paratha roll, ठीक है. And you don't want to spend a lot of money, so like आपको economical भी होना है, ठीक है, at the same time, ठीक है. So you have a paratha roll, and paratha roll is always there for you. It's very cheap, it's very hearty. It comes in different flavors. एक तो जो classic is the chicken chutney होता है, मगर अगर आपको थोड़ा like you're feeling a bit more like या थोड़ा और एक कार्बी केक की जरूरत है आज, तो थोड़ा वो हो गया है, चन्ना मेरे यहाँ सीन हो गया है, तो आप जो है ना उसके अंदर एक you can have like a garlic mayo वाला आप डलवा सकते हो, चीज हो सकता है, आप उसके अंदर मलाई बोटी फ्लेवर कर सकते हो, which is just like so it's It's pretty या आप उसको कह दो कि आप इसको ऐसा कर दो, पूरे पराठा रोल को आप एक डीप फ्राई भी कर दो, ठीक है? So like shit's gone real, ठीक है? So
हो
yeah, so
क्या रहा है?
it's एक yeah, तो it's a Karachi favorite, like so, and उसकी range भी जो होती है is like anywhere between, like in Pakistani rupees I'd say it's like 120 to 200 rupees के अंदर होता है, so that would be like आपका half, like which would be like 60 to 100 rupees Indian का price ही होगा, ठीक है? And it's very economical. And एक ही होता है फिर, then there's the bun kebab. I think bun kebab in like what I've been reading is kind of like the vada pav, I think. जो आपका होता है एक there's like a butter bun होता है, बीच के अंदर आपका एक potato या दाल patty होती है. So yeah, that's Karachi food. And Karachi के अंदर एक और चीज भी है, because people come here from like all four corners of the country, so you get the best of everything from everywhere, because nobody's like actually very indigenously from Karachi. Everyone's come from somewhere, ठीक है, to make a living over here. So everyone brings with them food. So आपको हर किस्म का अच्छा खाना मिल जाता है. One thing which came with the post 9/11 era, because of the war on terror, jo, like neighboring Afghanistan ke andar thi, so a lot of Afghan migrants came over here and they live over here. So they opened up a lot of Afghan restaurants. So you get really solid Afghan food. So like agar aapko Kabuli pulao khana hoga ya aapko wo khana hoga, like amazing Afghan barbecue, ya wo jo itni badi rotiyan jo hoti hain like tandoor wali, so you get them in Karachi also. So like yeah, like you get everything and anything over here. I think and Karachi ka jo, like I always say, jo like the top tourist thing to do in Karachi is to eat, ठीक है? And I mean आपकी छुट्टी खत्म हो जाएगी, खाना खत्म नहीं होगा. So like, and I always tell people, make a list of what you want to eat, ठीक है? Like because it will overwhelm you when you come here. You're like, oh shit, मुझे हर चीज खानी है. But then end में आप कुछ भी नहीं खाओगे because आप इतने overwhelm हो जाते हो. You're like, oh my god, like मैं क्या खाऊं? Freeze हो जाते हैं.
बट मतलब बिरयानी, हलीम और निहारी तो खानी बनती है, इसके अलावा तो आप
वो तो खानी, but don't do it in the same day, ठीक है? You will die.
No, of course. इतना नहीं है.
ये हो जाएगा. मुझे क्या हो रहा है, ये मुझे यहाँ क्या दर्द हो रहा है.
हाँ, हम लोग बहुत भारी से लग रहा है, मेरा दिल बहुत धक कर रहा है. सब ठीक तो है?
ये मुझे एक निहारी कुछ हो रहा है, निहारी हो रहा है मुझे.
I want to remind our listeners that हमारा last episode जो था, last episode, that was on Nihari, so do check that out whenever you get a chance. Also,
and I also talked in Nihari. We did talk about how Pakistan is popular and Karachi is popular for the Nihari as well, and then the Nalli Nihari, they call special Nihari in
Karachi. Like इसके अंदर एक और जो चीज है, sorry आपको कट कर रहा हूँ, just because add on is like यहाँ Karachi के अंदर भी ये चीज है, people are very loyal to which place they'll go for biryani, which place they'll go to Nihari, and बहुत सख्त loyalty है, ठीक? और फड्डा हो जाता है. Like I don't know if you know what फड्डा is. फड्डा is street slang for क्या? लड़ाई. लफड़ा. आप लोग कहते हो लफड़ा, ठीक है? लफड़ा हो जाएगा, ठीक है?
We will call फड्डा. फड्डा sounds good.
फड्डा रायता फैला दिया. It will annoy. ये तो so yeah, the thing is so it gets really intense, ठीक है? Like लोग कहेंगे नहीं फरहान की बिरयानी सबसे अच्छी है. लाइक नहीं, फरहान कौन खाता है? तो लाइक क्या बकवास कर रहे हो, फरहान की इंडस सबसे अच्छी है, ये सबसे अच्छी है. एंड पीपल आर वेरी लॉयल टू वेयर दे गो, ठीक है? एंड इतना वो होता है कि लाइक एंड एक सॉर्ट ऑफ एक फोपा है कि यू कैन नॉट इवन लाइक से कि यार मुझे वहां की नहीं पसंद है, या मैं नहीं खाऊंगा वहां. यू हैव टू जस्ट चुपचाप गो, जी अच्छी है, अच्छी है, घर जाके क्या लंड बिरयानी खिलाई, सॉरी.
क्या दे दिया तुमने ये?
क्या ये खिला दिया आपने मुझे, ठीक है? सो या पीपल आर वेरी लाइक to their area, and specifically कई लोगों को loyalty होती है to their area. मैं बर्गर बच्चा हूँ तो मैं तो डिफेंस में, तो हमारी कोई लॉयल्टी नहीं है. और हमारी तो एट डिफेंस इज नोन कि यहाँ आपको बिरयानी निहारी नहीं मिलेगी अच्छी, ठीक है? यहाँ आपको लाइक एक सैनिटाइज्ड बर्गर वर्जन मिलती है, जहाँ लाइक आप अपने गोरे फिरंगी जो कजन्स आते हैं ना शादी टाइम के अंदर, ठीक है? ओह वाओ कल्चर, वो वाले जो आते हैं ना, उनको खिला दो, उनका पेट खराब नहीं होगा, ठीक है? डोंट टेक देम टू द इनर सिटी, दे विल लाइक सीधा अस्पताल हो जाएगा. आई हेट पाकिस्तान हो जाएगा 2 मिनट में.
Before we proceed further, for people who are not in Karachi listening otherwise, they need to know what is burger bacha and bun kebab. Bilal, could you explain us because we do have similar kind of version in India, in Delhi and Mumbai as well.
You do, ठीक है. So like हमारे होता है like जो someone who's like a more westernized I guess होता है, जो थोड़ी fluent अंग्रेजी बोलेगा, ठीक है, switches a bit like बहुत ज़्यादा between English Urdu, ठीक है, and probably lives in a more privileged part of town, ठीक है, उनके ऊपर एक लेबल लग जाता है ये बर्गर है, ठीक है, and बन कबाब is someone जिसको एक identity crisis होती है, वो ना वहाँ के होते हैं, वो ना यहाँ के होते हैं, ठीक है, वो I'd identify more as a बन कबाब because in the sense you can fit in everywhere, ठीक है, आप अपने जो है ना like वो आप बर्गर गैंग साहब yo bro what's up man Messi yeah hello Messi निकल गया PSG, आप वैसे हो जाते हो, ठीक है, फिर 2 मिनट में मगर you cross the bridge and you have your other friends and you're like अरे क्या कर रहा है यार, क्या बकवास है, so like if you can code switch then you're a bun kebab, ठीक है, मगर कई लोग होते हैं जिनसे code switch नहीं होता है and everything. So yeah, वो फिर हमारे यहाँ जो डिवाइड है कराची में ब्रिज है, ठीक है, it's called the Clifton Bridge, ठीक है, and people use it a lot in like the city's social structure. They're like तुम ब्रिज की किस पार रहते हो, ब्रिज के उस पार, ब्रिज के उस पार, ब्रिज के उस पार, and they immediately will put you in a box, ठीक है, and it's really stupid but it is like that. जैसे तो it's called the Clifton Bridge, ठीक है, ऐसा कोई जबरदस्त ब्रिज नहीं, कोई मैनहट्टन ब्रिज नहीं है, बस एक फ्लाईओवर है, ठीक है, जस्ट बता दूं आप लोगों को अगर आप इमेजिन कर रहे हो कहीं मैनहट्टन ब्रिज है, तो it's just it's बस नाम उसका है क्लिफ्टन ब्रिज है, ठीक है, तो क्लिफ्टन ब्रिज का जो साउथ साइड है इज डिफेंस एंड क्लिफ्टन व्हिच इज the privileged part of town. यहाँ सारे बड़े like actors actresses सब रहते हैं, मायरा खान like I don't know अगर आपको पता है तो like she lives over here, ये लोग सब लोग यहाँ रहते हैं, ठीक है, मैं रहता हूँ इधर, ठीक है, तो फिर अगर आप ब्रिज के दूसरे पार जाएं is the rest of the city, ठीक है, so they immediately in social lingo in the city this is how we talk, like तुम ब्रिज के किस पार, प्लान किधर है, प्लान ब्रिज के इस पार है, ब्रिज उसके उस पार है, ठीक है, ओ अच्छा तुम तो उस ब्रिज के उस पार रहते हो, अरे यार मैं ब्रिज के उस पार के किसी की डेट नहीं करती यार, ये वाली ये बहुत नॉर्मल बात है, ठीक है, ये ओ नहीं वहां तो रिश्ता नहीं जानना, वो तो ब्रिज के उस पार है, ब्रिज के, अच्छा फिर कई दफा मजाक भी होता है that person is too many bridges away, वो तो बहुत ज्यादा ब्रिज हो गए out of the question, ठीक है, इधर ब्रिज के उस पार एक और ब्रिज आ जाता है, ठीक है, so yeah it's this is how we like immediately
that's the definition.
दिल्ली में ये साउथ दिल्ली और बॉम्बे में ये साउथ बॉम्बे जो आई थिंक बर्गर बच्चे हैं वो साउथ बॉम्बे या साउथ दिल्ली वाले खिलाएंगे. सदफ, are you a burger बच्चा सदफ or are you a bun kebab?
I am typical bun kebab. I am very typical. I'm like I live in South Delhi, but I think I also switch, right? So it depends on whom I'm in sort of speaking with. So I switch between South Delhi and the burgers and the bun kebab. And to set the context of the Clifton Bridge as well, in Delhi, if you are, there's of course Jamuna, so Yamuna Nadi, which is so the example is that तुम Jamuna के किस पार रहते हो, उस पार की इस पार, तो इस पार is the South Delhi part, and अगर उस पार हो तो like अरे जमुना के उस पार तो गई भैंस पानी में. Like nobody
in Lahore it's very similar to जैसे दिल्ली का, वहां भी एक रिवर ही आ जाती है बीच में, तो it's like either वो कहते हैं कनाल आती है, and canal I think is a tributary of the Ravi river है, तो कहते हैं कनाल को उर्दू में कहते हैं नहर, तो कहते हैं नहर के उस पार, नहर के इस पार, और नहर के इस पार is like ये डिफेंस गुलबर्ग जो उनके वहाँ टिश टॉश इलाके हैं सारे, ठीक है, जहाँ गवर्नर के बच्चे रहते हैं, सारे बड़े फैशन डिजाइनर्स, like बड़ा like it's and I don't know how Delhi works but Lahore is very flashy, so if you're wealthy you want to show it, you want to like fucking show it. आपके पास अगर आप गुची पहनो तो आपकी शर्ट पे पूरा गुची लिखा होना चाहिए, like fucking yeah गुची, ये गुची पहनो, फेंडी बैट इतना बड़ा एफ होना चाहिए, so like Lahore is very flashy, so you go to like नहर के उस पार you will see this shit, ठीक है, लोग अपनी and Karachi we're more like subdued about our wealth because obviously बड़ा शहर है ज्यादा, तो and people are more like दिखाएंगे तो like they'll go अपनी किटी विटी पार्टी पे तो वहां जाके दिखाएं, पब्लिकली इतना नहीं होता, so like ये हमारा एक बड़ा फर्क होता है.
So I think it's similar still in Delhi, as the same kind of story. Back to the food.
Yes.
दिल्ली में
ये देखिए
दिल्ली बॉय,
इतनी बड़ी बेल्ट लुई विटॉन
घूमने वाली,
और वो टी शर्ट और शर्ट सिर्फ वो बेल्ट के ऊपर ही थोड़ी सी टक करी होगी ताकि वो बेल्ट दिख जाए. बेल्ट का ब्रांड
चाहिए, पता होना चाहिए, पता.
And the popular slang of Delhi is तू जानता नहीं मेरा बाप कौन है.
That's Islamabad for us.
Oh, ये
That's Islam. वो next वो दूसरा एक आ जाता, हम उनको छोड़ देते हैं मगर like a very because we get lost in our वो entire, but that's Islam, entire other world in itself.
वो अलग ही दुनिया है, उसके बारे में आराम से बात किया जाएगा. So yeah, so that was the definition of burger and bun kebab for people to understand the two divide.
Yeah. So you told us beautifully about the street food of Karachi, but tell us something about the food at home. What do you typically eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner? Walk us through your diet, and not necessarily your diet because you're a fitness junkie, so you're either extremes. So and I'm also totally with you. But what are the typical resident of Karachi eat at home?
यार honestly like एक तो सुबह में जब like उठते हैं हम नाश्ता, ठीक है, so नाश्ते के अंदर like usually what happens, either you have dalia which is porridge, ठीक है, आप porridge खा लेते हो, if not porridge you have a fried egg, ठीक है. Karachi में we're known to put like लाल मिर्चें on our fried egg, ठीक है. Other parts of the country do not understand that. They're like, who puts lal mirchi? And it has
I
to be
put
like
it every damn day.
I
put it
all the time.
I put it every damn day. Yeah,
so sometimes they add in a little bit of chaat masala also, just like अगर मुझे लग रहा है कि थोड़ा वो नहीं आ रहा मजा. But other parts of the country they put like वो काली मिर्च and like salt and everything, so I have that. कभी कभार you have like an omelette, उसको खाकीना कहते हैं. खाकीना is like it's like a omelette ही होता है basically, मगर it's scrambled eggs होता है, but इसके अंदर like green chili, हाँ, scrambled egg, ठीक है, green chilies, onions and that kind of stuff. So this is like breakfast. It's very simple, ठीक है. कभी कभार if you're feeling a bit hearty, तो दूध जलेबी कभी कभार like that's something you have in Ramzan, ठीक है. And then for lunch usually you अच्छा like एक और जो चीज होती है, we eat a lot of meat over here, ठीक है. So like when I started going all healthy and like fitness and everything, so like घर में मजाक हो रहा था कि बिलाल की वीनिंग हो रही है, जैसे जो बच्चे होते हैं ना, न्यूबॉर्न बच्चों की वीनिंग हो रही है. So like I was trying stuff like which is not meat options, ठीक है. So like I but now usually we eat a lot of meat. So like दोपहर में usually it's either you have something with rice, so rice के अंदर या तो you have दाल चावल, which is staple, I guess. आप लोग भी दाल चावल खाते हो, ठीक है. But favorite like always easy like and मगर दूसरा होता है you either have a meat dish, तो meat के अंदर either आपकी कढ़ाई होती है, सालन, korma, nihari, so these are things that you have for lunch. And then dinner usually again rice or meat dish, ठीक है. And rice के अंदर भी then there's biryani, pulao, tahiri, there's like उसको I think मसाले वाले चावल कहते हैं, which is like yellow rice, आलू वाले चावल. So that's one thing we have a lot. And yeah, so that is like what basic घर का खाना is like, ठीक है. दाल के अंदर फिर varieties आ जाती है, मसूर, चने, काली दाल, ठीक है. So yeah, that's basic like घर का खाना. What घर का खाना is like. Yeah.
But you eat biryani every day? That's what people ask me. So I'm going to ask you.
Jumma. Fridays is for biryani.
Of course.
Fridays,
what?
But
people in Pakistan don't eat biryani every day? Shocking.
No, oh my God. Mind blowing.
Lillah, आपने ये क्या कह दिया?
Astaghfirullah.
जब मैं कॉलेज में था ना, तो कॉलेज डेज पे ना मेरा so we used to stay in a Muslim hostel. मतलब एक मिक्स था, बस बहुत ज्यादा मुस्लिम बच्चे थे वहाँ पे. तो एक लड़का था हमारे कॉलेज में, एंड ही कॉलेज नहीं मतलब इन दिस पर्टिकुलर हॉस्टल, वो फ्राइडे के फ्राइडे जाएगा नमाज पढ़ने, विच इज वेरी गुड. लेकिन नमाज पढ़ते ही बाहर निकलते ही दुकान थी गोश्त की, तो वो गोश्त लेके आया था. और हर फ्राइडे रूल था हमारा कि दोपहर में तो गोश्त खाना ही है. एंड हम लाइक ऐसा मतलब रात को खा लो, रात को नहीं, दोपहर में बिल्कुल 1 घंटा इत्मीनान से खाना बनेगा. और फिर वो वही बनाता था, वो बड़ा ही लजीज बनता था. और हिज आइडिया वाज कि थोड़ा सा ना मीट में बाइट होना चाहिए, कि बिल्कुल ऐसे खींच के खाया जाए ताकि मजा आए. तो ये उसका वजन था. बट हाँ, जुम्मे का उसका भी सीन था.
Yeah, you know,
I want to tell you.
Like I'm going to add
Sorry, go on. Go on.
इसकी जो Friday जो होता है यहाँ half day होता है, ठीक है. Because so and then the weekend comes, which is Saturday, Sunday तो off होता है. तो Friday को you usually get off early because of नमाज, ठीक है. So Friday को usually I think आपका normal अगर work day होता है at like 9 to 5 हो रहा है, तो Friday पे 3 बजे या 2:30 बजे आपकी 2:30 बजे आपकी छुट्टी हो जाएगी, ठीक है. And it because they take into account prayers and everything. So but after prayers you have to come back to office for I think 1 घंटा. आपको काम करना होता है वो कोई नहीं आता है, ठीक है, because everyone goes for namaz, then they go have their biryani, and then जब आप बिरयानी खाते you basically just knock out, ठीक है. So that 1 hour everyone just like घड़ी देख रहे होते हैं, just like yeah literally people literally just go to sleep in the office. सर रख के नीचे सो just like I was like I don't understand the point of that 1 hour. You can just go home, ठीक है.
ये बस वो से
Actually, sometimes people just don't even go for namaz. They just go directly to biryani. They're like biryani khani hai, biryani kha rahe hain, theek hai. It just becomes a party and then they go to sleep and nobody works, theek hai. So like we have a joke over here ki like people stop working from midday Friday. So from midday, if it's midday Friday and you have some office work, you're like just forget it. Monday ko karna. It's not going to happen. It will not happen. Nobody will do it on Friday, theek hai.
Yeah, we also need this thing. Archit,
So
ऐसा
like
petition चालू करते हैं.
तो मैं कहीं go back to Pakistan.
मैं भी नहीं
Go
करता.
back to Pakistan.
हाँ यार, हमारे यहाँ तो वो सब होता है ना, मंडे को 16 सोमवार मंगलवार को ऐसे कुछ कुछ होता है, तो उसमें भी आधी आधी छुट्टी तो होनी चाहिए कम से कम ना.
आधी आधी हो जाती है.
रोज कुछ ना कुछ ढूंढ लो आधी छुट्टी लेने के लिए.
हाँ नहीं देखो, मंडे को तो legit. So basically, as per the Hindu calendars, there are you fast on different days, right? तो Monday को you fast, especially जो अभी महीना चला सावन का महीना बोलते हैं. So लड़कियां usually रखती हैं 16 सोमवार ताकि अच्छा हस्बैंड मिले. तो ऐसे मतलब लड़कियों को भी तो दोनों को मिल जाना चाहिए आधा, क्योंकि देखो आखिर 16 सोमवार करके वो छुट्टी ले, मतलब भूखी किसके लिए रही, लड़कों के लिए. अब लड़के ऑफिस में रहेंगे तो कैसे मालूम चलेगा कि हाँ ऑप्शंस हैं मार्केट में. तो आई थिंक दोनों को आधी आधी की छुट्टी मिल जानी चाहिए. और देन ट्यूसडे को यू हैव, हाँ ट्यूसडे को यू हैव द हनुमान डे, तो हनुमान जी का दिन होता है. तो
मिल जाता है आप लोगों में, बैलेंस हो जाता है कहीं ना कहीं.
नहीं मिलता नहीं है ना, वही तो पूछना, हमें मिलना चाहिए.
हाँ ये बात सही, हमें तो मिलता है. हमें तो फ्राइडे
जैसे यू गेट फ्राइडे का आधा ना, वी शुड गेट सैटरडे संडे एंड मंडे का आधा, ऐसा कुछ होना चाहिए. खैर एक काम करते हैं हम, अर्चित तो मैं जाते हैं फटाफट change.org पे इसका पिटीशन बनाने को, और तब तक बाकी जनता जो है ले लो ब्रेक फटाफट.
एंड वेयर बैक. तो एक चीज आई वांट टू टेल आवर लिसनर्स कि आपने बताया था ना कि बिरयानी के ऊपर फड्डे हो जाते हैं कराची में, तो सदफ और मेरे भी हो जाते हैं. तो सदफ रियली लाइक्स biryani with aloo and I don't like biryani with aloo at all. So Sadaf and I are very like at each other all the time.
Bilal will be in my team, I know already.
Bilal biryani with aloo.
Yes, always aloo.
देखा,
always बिरयानी के अंदर आलू नहीं है तो पुलाव हो जाता है.
देखा, निम मैं चुट बोले या कोई ना, निम मैं कुड़तो ले या कोई ना. देखा, ये हो गई बात, अब हो गया बस. देखो सरहद पास से हमारे पास सपोर्ट आ रहे. करो
सपोर्ट आ गई,
सपोर्ट
I will have to find
foreign funding
सदफ के एजेंडा के लिए फॉरेन फंडिंग आ रही है.
आगे ये हमारे इसमें कोई ऐसे खुफिया कुछ तो नहीं बैठा हुआ है, मालूम चला लिटरली मेरा बैंक अकाउंट चेक हो रहा तुम्हारे पास फॉरेन फंडिंग आ रही है. हाँ फॉरेन फंडिंग ज्यादा है, कैसे लोकल फंडिंग है. बिहार एक जगह है, काफी पॉपुलर जगह है बिहार. ऐसा कहा जाता है कि जो ना जहां ना पहुंचे
जो ना कटे क्या है पूरी,
वो भी है. जो ना कटे तलवार आदि से, वो कटे बिहारी से. तो ऐसा भी कहा जाता है.
Sadaf is from Bihar, by the way, to give context.
हाँ, I am from Bihar. हम हैं बहुत ज्यादा भौकाल तो यूपी का है, लेकिन हम हैं उसी जगह से. हमारा जगह जब जो पार्टीशन हुआ था बेसिकली, तो बिहार से काफी लोग गए थे कराची. और इतना पॉपुलर जो बिहार, I mean, if you know me, people, you know I talk about Bihari kebab to death. I love Bihari kebab. Absolutely. Exactly. In fact, so far I have only seen one company making Bihari kebab masala, which is Shan. Shan ke alawa I have never seen anybody else making Bihari kebab masala. Now, so that's what I want to understand. Ki Bihar or India mein Bihari kebab is not that popular. It's only popular in Bihar. Of course, they don't call it Bihari kebab in Bihar. They call it kebab in Bihar. So, obviously. So I want to understand that how
is कौन से कबाब होते हैं?
और कौन से? हमारे पास तो एक ही होते हैं.
There are other kebabs.
Where the kebabs? That's it. So what is the influence of Bihar in Karachi? Of course, there's kebab, but more than that.
It's huge because जो होते हैं ना हमारे when partition happened, so like the waves of the migrants that came from India, a large chunk of them did come from Bihar. And जो for cultural context, जो ये सारे जो migrants होते हैं over here ethnically, they were termed as Majir. Majir means migrant refugee, but people don't use Majir anymore because there was a political party in the 90s which used it and they stoked up nationalism and everything, and it became like a full clusterfuck. Okay, so people don't use that word anymore because it's become a dirty word. So instead, people just use the word Urdu speaking. And if someone says I'm Urdu speaking, they will understand that this person has roots to India. Like ये लोग वहाँ से आए थे, ठीक है, and then they came over here. And I know a lot of people even in Pakistan, they're like Urdu speaking. Doesn't everyone speak Urdu? No, like only 8% of Pakistan speaks Urdu as a first language. Only 8%. जबकि it's a national language, ठीक है.
What?
45 to 50. 45 to
Oh.
55% Pakistan speaks a dialect of Punjabi. ठीक है. So Punjabi is actually the majority. But Urdu is the national language because that's what everyone has to learn in order to understand one another. And it's Urdu and English. हमारे वो हैं. So like everyone speaks both of them, a bit of them, and like most people are trilingual here. So like English, Urdu तो आती है, but तीसरी is like your whatever your regional tongue होगी. So like Pashto and Punjabi are pretty high up. So like coming back to like the Bihari question and everything, so yeah, काफी influence because the large chunk of the migrants that came from India were either Bihari or they came from Uttar Pradesh or Delhi. ये तीन जगहें थी, ठीक है, सबसे ज्यादा जो है. So a lot of them brought their food culture over here. So जो जैसे आपने बोला ना कि बिहारी कबाब वहाँ इतने नहीं होंगे, like मगर यहाँ जो है it became like a cultural phenomenon because you have specific, like जैसे निहारी बिरयानी की जगहें, you have places where you go for बिहारी कबाब, and वहाँ भी again फड्डे हैं किसका ज्यादा अच्छा है. सो लाइक यहाँ वहीद वहीद एक जगह है, वो बहुत मशहूर है अपने बिहारी कबाब के लिए. एंड एक और चीज होती है, वो बिहारी कबाब को वो फ्राई भी कर देते हैं, तो वो फ्राई बिहारी कबाब भी बन जाते हैं, ठीक है. सो इट्स लाइक दे आर बिहारी कबाब एंड देन they're completely fried into this mushy kind of texture. It doesn't look that great, not insta worthy, but I mean it tastes out of this world, ठीक है. फिर एक और चीज होती है धागे वाले कबाब. So like and it's that is kind of like a Rubik's cube, ठीक है, in the sense वो कबाब होता है and it's held together by like strings and everything. I never understood the logic of the strings, but it's somehow you have to like उसका यही तरीका है खाने का कि आप खाते हो बट साथ साथ आप उसको स्ट्रिंग को अनरेवल करते हो एंड एवरीथिंग. फिर आपके जो होते हैं इसी कबाब क्लस्टर के अंदर आपके आते हैं जो पश्तून कबाब होते हैं, जिसको हम चपली कबाब कहते हैं. एंड चपली कबाब इज लाइक the shape like chappals, ठीक है, and it's like the size of my like palm, ठीक है, इतने बड़े होते हैं. They are more like an acquired taste. आपको या तो अच्छे लगेंगे या you will not like them because they have a lot of things in it. So yeah, like बहुत huge influence है of Bihari kebabs and food that came just from Delhi. से जो आया था, Nihari came from Delhi. Migrants from Delhi brought Nihari over here, and now over here it's a cultural phenomenon.
Correct. In fact, I have another friend who runs a YouTube channel called Street Food PK by Zia.
Yeah, so, very popular. Very popular.
Yeah, so Zia bhai put up another which is Bihari kebab in buns or a roll.
Yes.
तो रोल मतलब अलग ही गेम चल रहा है बिकॉज बिहार में यहाँ पर तो इतना कुछ नहीं है. They don't fry it, they just make it and you eat it. Simple. There's no other combination.
जैसे वो मैंने कहा था ना, जो पराठा रोल होता है आपके पास ऑप्शन होता है, आप उसके अंदर बिहारी कबाब वाला भी बना सकते हो. सो लाइक यू आस्क देम, और अगर आपको बिहारी कबाब के ऊपर आप चीज भी डलवा दो, गार्लिक मेयो, डीप फ्राई सब करवा दो, लाइक हमने लाइक लिटरली उसको हमने iOS अपडेट कर दिया है उसे.
यहाँ के वाले बिहार वाले बिल्कुल मर जाएंगे, बोलेंगे क्या कर दिया तुमने हमारे बिहारी कबाब पे था.
वो गैंग्स ऑफ वासेपुर 4 आ जाएगी, कहेंगे हेलो व्हाट आर यू डूइंग.
हाँ, व्हाट आर यू डूइंग विद माय जंग इसी पे होगी अब.
बिहारी कबाब पे फड्डे हो जाएंगे.
You know, that's interesting about cheese. So I think if you go to Bombay and you try the local street food there, one common factor across all dishes, be it dosa, vada pav, is the addition of cheese. वो लोग हर चीज पे चीज डाल देते हैं ग्रेट करके, और थोड़ा सा नहीं, बहुत सारा, लाइक दे 100 grams का ब्लॉक वो पूरा स्प्रिंकल कर देते हैं. एंड यू वेटिंग कि भैया रुक जाओ, बट वो उसके अंदर भी, डोसा के अंदर भी चीज डालेंगे, फिर ऊपर से भी ग्रेट करेंगे. सो दीज अमेरिकन, आई टेल यू, Ruined
Yeah,
us.
and you know the thing that I find funny about this, because यहाँ भी हर चीज डाल देते हैं, is that like because as a doctor, like fun geeky fact, like
Yeah.
70% of the people in our region are lactose intolerant. So I don't know ये चीज किसके लिए था, सबको तो टट्टियां लगनी है थोड़ी देर में.
I mean, Indians are also lactose intolerant, by the way.
Yeah, like
मतलब
हमारे
I think पूरा region ही है. But हम
नॉर्थ
मानते
इंडिया में
नहीं है
कम
बात
है.
को.
नॉर्थ
हम
इंडिया
मानते
में
नहीं
कम है
बात को.
लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंट, और थोड़ा सेंट्रल और साउथ इंडिया में ज्यादा लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंस है, बिकॉज नॉर्थ इंडिया में our gut has been used to drinking dairy for a long period of time, and so which is not the case
Yeah,
in
like
central
हम
and south India.
या कि हम भी बोलते हैं, कहते हैं जो लाहौर वाले हैं, आई गेस कोई नॉर्थ इंडिया वाली ज्योग्राफी वाली,
Yeah.
हम कहते हैं इनके लोहे के पेट हैं, इनको कुछ भी खिला दो कोई मसला नहीं होगा. Like, so yeah, that's it, like literally, and Lahore is all about quantity. Like उनका हो गया, like वहाँ like they will advertise things, 4 फुट के कबाब, 1 फुट की लस्सी, like that's like the advertisement. वो उसके अंदर क्या है वो किसी को नहीं पता, ठीक है, वो 4 फुट की लस्सी है, पीने जाना चाहिए, ठीक है. So they're a lot about quantity, huge about quantity, and they'll tolerate it. I like मैं उसका आधा ग्लास में I'm dying, लग रहा हूँ मर रहा हूँ.
Moving from Bihar to slightly east is Bengal. So Bengali influence bhi I saw in Karachi from your Instagram. I didn't know about it.
Yes.
And you'd, I think, taken a picture of this shop called Dhaka, if I'm pronouncing it right, which had Malai Cham Cham, Kheer Kadam, Dhaka.
Yeah.
So how popular are Bengali sweets in Karachi?
Bengali sweets are very popular, but like it is sad at the same time, because it's when you have to go into the history of how like Bangladesh and all that came into being. So a lot of the Bengali people that live in Pakistan, the majority live in Karachi. There's around 1 to 2 million of them.
Wow.
They actually don't have, but none of them, they don't have citizenship, and they are illegal. Not illegal would not be the correct. I mean, they're stateless. That's the correct word. Because, and they're not documented, and because both Pakistan and Bangladesh, we don't exactly have the best relations because of how things came to being. So, and neither of them is willing to talk about what to do about them. These are people who were left behind when 71 happened, and they are ethnically Bengali and everything, but never been to Bangladesh. You get what I'm saying? Kabhi gaye nahi the, bas yahin paida hue the, and they're Bengali and everything. But when 71 happened, Pakistan was like, we don't want them. Bangladesh is like, we don't want them, and bichare yahan phas gaye, theek hai? And so that's, but you can see them a lot, like in like aapke in the mithai industry, theek hai? So Dhaka Sweets is one of them. I think like Inka jo scene, like it's entirely run like by Bengali setup and everything. They're one of the, I think, the lucky few jinko I think citizenship and all that stuff mil gaya and everything. But like hai kafi masla and everything. But it's very popular, and they've actually spelled Dhaka in the old way, like how it was before 71. So that's how it used to be spelled. So
that's why I mispronounced it.
Like, because I feel like it's also very old, and there's also a sense of nostalgia. So like it's very popular, and like if you've grown up as a kid in Karachi, you've most likely gone to Dhaka Sweets. You've had the meeta dahi, jisko mishti dahi kehte hain. You've had the kalojam, the cham cham. So like it's very popular, but at the same time also Bengali culture and Bengali life is also very invisible because of the way the people are, and they're so they always live in the shadows, like they're there because itna bada hai, but also very much in the shadows. And specifically abhi, because of COVID and everything, it's also come more to the light, because you can only get vaccinated if you have an ID card or a national ID card number and everything, because you have to register by your cell phone and everything. So the whole it became another huge debate in Pakistan. Hello, there are also 2 million people over here, we need to get them vaccinated also. And so yeah, it's the discussion. It's something lingering always that comes back into the discussion. Also in like Pakistan thing, where like when we talk about like refugees and Rohingyas all over the world, we're like, ye yahan ho raha hai, and then people come back social, they're like, hey, what about the ones that live here? We should do something about them, give them citizenship at least, so like it is something which is there. I mean, sorry, I made this a bit heavy, but like I wanted to give a cultural context into this.
Yeah, that's very useful to know.
No, it was important for us at least to know, and all of us to also see this. And it's all about culture at the end of the day. So, yeah. And is it just with Bengalis, or is it with like, if and because in the beginning also you mentioned about how Afghans also have come, because in India you have a lot of Afghans coming in, and in fact I was speaking with one Afghan girl a couple of days back, and she mentioned that her entire family came to India 20 years back, and now she lives in France. Literally she went to France 3 months back, but father has gone back to Afghanistan. Hopefully he will also fly to France sooner than later. So is there similar kind of situation with Afghanistan as well, and also their food in Karachi?
Yeah, because Afghans, so like there's a lot. There's like I think almost like 3 to 4 million like refugees that live here. And the Afghan situation is a bit very similar, but also very different in the sense that in the Afghans are they're like cousins to the Pashtuns, a lot of them. So it's literally कई लोग होंगे वो same family, same tribe के होंगे, just accident of geography and politics that one is born on this side, one is on this side, ठीक है? So there's a lot of intermarriage, a lot of intermingling over here between like local Pashtuns and people from that side. So unka jo influence on culture in Pakistan is much more they're less invisible. Unka thoda streamlined in the sense like because they have refugee cards, ठीक है? तो like at least they have some sort of documentation, और उस documentation की वजह से they can open bank accounts. उसकी वजह से at least they can live a normal-ish life, a normal-ish. I wouldn't say like I wouldn't want to whitewash it and say oh नहीं उनकी बहुत आसान जिंदगी है, नहीं बिल्कुल भी नहीं है and everything. But at least it's much more easier than the Bengali community who have zero documentation, ठीक है? So like you have like a few like Afghan refugees जो जिनकी refugee status and everything, but they come on TV like when newscasters होते like on the Pashto networks and everything, restaurants इनके होते and everything. So yes, it's slightly easier, but not obviously like
Okay. Now, before we get into our other segment, one question, because this has been going really interesting stuff around in India and Pakistan as well. In India, you have a couple of dishes, well, like Karachi Bakery, right? And I have heard you have Bombay Bakery. And there's also this new field, this new food coming in, which is like, say, you have now the vada paos, or you have got the pav bhaji and dosa and whatnot. So how is that sort of, I would say, trend, right? Because if I'm not wrong, this wasn't really a thing, let's say 10 years back or 15 years back, if I'm not wrong. Maybe one of them, but not necessarily all of them. So how has that been, that there's this sort of this influence on the food, on the street food especially?
What I find interesting is that people don't think about it. Like, oh, ये Indian and anything. People are always just trying to like, just नई चीज़ है, try कर लेते हैं, ठीक है?
Yeah.
Bombay Bakery जैसे जो है is like a heritage and symbol, and it's been here for like years. Like it's one of the oldest things. So like वो तो trend में नहीं आता. And Bombay Bakery का भी जो interesting जो fun fact I think is the Nathani family है which owns it. It's a Hindu family which is based in Hyderabad, and they've been there for like years and everything, and they still run it. And it's run out of bungalow and everything. और आपको सुबह ही सुबह वहाँ पहुँचना होता है, वरना it just runs out by 12 o'clock. And it's very popular amongst people in Karachi. So it's in Hyderabad. So Hyderabad is like I think 200 kilometers away from Karachi. So like literally people from Karachi drive up to Hyderabad just to get Bombay Bakery के cake. So that's very popular. Vada pav अभी आया है कराची के अंदर, so अभी वो नहीं है, but dosa is very popular. Like masala dosa, ये चीजें मिलती हैं. And like you have to go like specific chart places. हर जगह नहीं मिलता, but वहाँ मिलता है and everything. And it's pretty popular. And like but again at the same time, like I have to add, because like we're a very meat based culture, so not everyone really gets it either. कि वो कहते ये क्या खा रहे हो, ये कमजोर लोगों वाला खाना है. I was like नहीं, आलू है यार, आलू है, इसमें क्या कमजोर है? It is going straight ये ठीक है. आलू और fried है everything. Yes, सीधा. So like दिमाग में कई लोगों के होता है. Some people don't even consider chicken meat. They're like chicken नहीं, beef, like वो होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, ये वाली चीजें सारी होनी चाहिए. Like it has to be like, so like yeah. So it depends on which person you're talking to. Like Karachi mein we eat everything.
Yeah. Before people become really curious कि भाई ये क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पर, कराची और हैदराबाद आना जाना चल रहा है. ये हैदराबाद पाकिस्तान में भी है, तो इनका कराची हैदराबाद वाला वो वाला सीन है. ये कराची से हैदराबाद हर दिन फ्लाइट लेकर नहीं आते. Just letting people. आज हैदराबाद जाके वहां की हलीम खाते हैं. चलो फ्लाइट बुक कर लेते.
By the way, Karachi bakeries are in India wala Hyderabad. And the biscuits available there look exactly the same as the biscuits available in the bakeries that you photos that you posted of the bakeries. बिल्कुल same दिखते हैं वो bakery biscuit.
Yeah, and I feel like they're much better than like जो डब्बे वाले आते हैं. So like I like going to the bakeries and you get them by like kilo, आधा किलो, like mix बना दो, नहीं ये वाला दे दो. So yeah, कुछ उसमें होते हैं जो favorite होते हैं, कुछ मुझे इतने अच्छे नहीं लगते. Jam वाला बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
Acha, before we jump into the break, there was this very interesting thing I read. I was reading this book about the 2004 tour, cricket tour of India into Pakistan. And this journalist was traveling around and he spoke to a Pakistani fast bowler. I forgot his name. And he asked that Pakistani fast bowler कि boss, इंडिया में इतने अच्छे फास्ट बॉलर्स क्यों नहीं है जितने पाकिस्तान में. तो वो फास्ट बॉलर का हाइपोथेसिस था कि आप लोग बीफ नहीं खाते, आप लोग रेड मीट नहीं खाते, उससे आपको अग्रेशन नहीं आता, इसलिए आपके फास्ट बॉलर्स आप प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर पाते. व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दिस हाइपोथेसिस? बिकॉज़ आई एम श्योर यू आर आल्सो अ क्रिकेट फैन.
No, but like that's what I just said. Like, cause like अभी मैंने बोला ये था कि यहाँ लोगों का ये thinking ही यही है कि like if you eat vegetables or too much vegetables, you will become weak and everything. ठीक है. Like even with me when like I started like bodybuilding and everything, people were like, तुम्हारी डाइट क्या थी? मैं कहता हूँ मैं बीन्स छोले कहते बीन्स छोले इससे कैसे मसल बनेंगे, इससे कैसे मसल बनेंगे? I was like नहीं, cause in their head like मसल होना चाहिए तो मैं like एक गाय पूरी खाऊं या like okay one बकरा कम ठीक है. So like in their head, because a lot of people do think like, and like I said, people don't consider chicken meat. They're like ये तो like ढीला meat है, like kamzor meat and everything. So it is a very widespread pervasive thinking in Pakistan. Karachi में less because we are used to eating like हम bun kebab, dosa, ये चीज हम खाते हैं and it's like a part of our street culture and everything. But in most parts of the country, yes, यही thinking है, बिल्कुल यही thinking है.
Yeah.
So before, bun kebab is also popular in India, in Bhopal. So people who are interested in having bun kebab, they please go to Bhopal. And yeah, that was the first time when I got to know about bun kebab in India. And then I called up my. It's awesome.
Also, it's भूल जाओगे आप लोग.
नहीं, ऐसा भी नहीं है.
नहीं, वड़ा पाव भूल जाओगे.
Also, bun kebab is in my book. तो जिसको चाहिए ले लेना. खैर, आप जाओ किताब ऑर्डर करो. हम जा रहे हैं ब्रेक लेने को, आखिरी वाला.
हाँ, तो आप ओवररेटेड बताइए अपने.
Overrated. Local. I mean, this underrated मैंने कहा mango. I mean, it's a Pakistani thing. एक है कलेजी होती है. I don't like कलेजी. It's they have it during Bakra Eid होती है. And Bakra Eid के ऊपर it's liver and it's liver mashed up. ठीक है. People really like it. I absolutely hate कलेजी. Like it has this weird texture.
Love it. I love it.
You like it?
I don't like it.
I do. मैंने बकरीद पे ही बनती है. बकरीद को कुर्बानी होने के बाद जो पहला गोश्त कलेजी. Not the mash, it's just the whole chunk. So कलेजी, गुर्दे, कपोरे इसको बोलते हैं ना. वही
yeah.
With roti.
So yeah, no, I don't like कलेजी. एक और चीज अगर होगा, I mean, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. I don't like शीर खुरमा either.
स्यापा. अरे बंद करो भाई, हो गया. चलो वापस इसको घर में, हो गया. पॉडकास्ट बंद करो, हो गया. बस. बाय बाय.
अरे इसमें बहुत चीजें. There's too many things in this. ठीक है. That's when I get called. अरे तुम तो बहुत बर्गर हो गए हो.
हाँ, clearly. अब तो ये रिजेक्टेड. जो फुल मार्क्स दिए थे ना मैंगो आइसक्रीम में, सब वापस ले लो. हाँ, क्यों भाई ऐसा क्यों है? आपको शीर खुरमा क्यों पसंद नहीं है? ऐसा क्या तकलीफ है बेचारों से?
नहीं like I like it जिसमें वो कभी बार होते हैं लोग इलायची बहुत डाल देते हैं. You know, that's the problem. ठीक है. और वो इलायची अगर मुंह में आ जाए, ना तो वो मूड थोड़ा खराब हो जाता है. सेम थिंग विद बिरयानी होती है. अगर वो इलायची आ जाए, आप कहते हो यार आपका मूड ऑफ हो जाता है थोड़ा.
तौबा मूड खराब कर.
तौबा. तो ये
no,
but
तो इलायची से प्रॉब्लम.
Specifically specifically I'd say like overrated is कलेजी. I think it's overrated. Like बहुत
नहीं शीर खुरमा. लेकिन उसको से शीर खुरमा भी ओवररेटेड है कुछ है.
Yes.
It's like you are the so I like vada pav, Archit doesn't like, right? I like sheer khurma, you don't like sheer khurma. So you are the new other Archit as well.
Yeah, other Archit
जो मैं पसंद करता हूँ, खाते पसंद ही नहीं है. खैर सही है. अच्छा, तो अंडर ओवर हो गया. What is your favorite then? One absolute favorite. It could be healthy, not so healthy. Apart from biryani, we know you love biryani. Apart from biryani,
pizza. मुझे like I love pizza. Like very simple, very basic pizza, French fries, burger. I think ये चीजें मुझे बहुत होती हैं out of like Western, but like chow mein, I really like that kind of stuff. हाँ ये बहुत होता है. And paratha roll, obviously.
With that sasta mayo.
With that sasta mayo, diarrhea mayo. Yeah. So that and obviously like I think actually no, like number one I'd say like my favorite, and because I think you guys will relate to this, is chai. Like very simple. Like I feel like मेरा दिन शुरू नहीं हो सकता without like a good cup of chai. मुझे शाम में भी पीनी होती है and everything. And even when I'm traveling and everything, I need to have chai everywhere. Chai stop, chai. So like chai is very much at the top.
So that दूध पत्ती चाय, मसाला चाय, या फिर what?
दूध पत्ती मीठी डायबिटिक टाइप चाय होती है वो वाली.
ये देखिए गौर से देखिए इस इंसान को, जिम सिम करके लौंडा बन रहा है, बॉडी बना रहा है अपना, और चाय में भरपूर चीनी चाहिए. ऐसे लोग होते हैं फर्जी लोग, नकली हैं ये लोग.
कल रात को ये लोग बर्गर खा रहे हैं, पिज्जा खा रहे हैं.
बताइए, पिज्जा खा रहे हैं. अच्छा तो he's like, देखो आज मैं एक्स्ट्रा चीनी वाली चाय पी लेता हूँ, फिर कल ज्यादा एक्स्ट्रा जिमिंग कर लेंगे, काम खत्म.
चीनी वाली चाय मैं नहीं, मैं सिर्फ अपने ब्रेक डे पीता हूँ ना. नॉर्मली मैं कहता हूँ यार चीनी के बगैर पीऊंगा चीनी, और सब लोग आपको देखते हैं इवन इफ व्हेन यू गोइंग आउट यू लाइक चीनी के बगैर चाय बना, देयर लुकिंग एट यू लाइक फुल शेड मारते हैं. ठीक है, कौन चीनी के बगैर दूध पत्ती पीता है. ठीक है.
So, do you not have the culture of adding masala like elaichi and sauce?
हम मसाला डालते हैं, मसाला, दालचीनी, I think cinnamon जो होती है वो डालते हैं. Yeah, सौंफ वो भी होता है. Like आपको specific order करना होता है. But like I personally, मुझे दूध पत्ती पसंद होती है, like basic, very simple. And एक होती है ढाबे वाली जो होती है, वो सबसे अच्छी होती है. I feel like वो घर पे नहीं मिलती है somehow. Like आप घर पे बना कोशिश कर सकते हो, बनेगी नहीं. तो एक वो ढाबे वाली होती है, वो जाके पीता हूँ. कभी कभार जैसे होता है like अगर मैं सुबह जल्दी उठ जाऊं and everything, तो मैं खुद जाके भी like रास्ते से उठाते हुए जाता हूँ ढाबे वाली चाय, like एक कप में रास्ते में पीता जाता हूँ. आई थिंक वो जो हमारा वर्जन हो, जो स्टारबक्स का कप होता है ना, तो आप वो चाय पीते जाते हो.
उसमें जो ट्रक्स की जो फ्यूम्स होते हैं वो मिले होते हैं, तो तभी उससे यूनिक टेस्ट आता है.
यस. अक्सर वो थोड़ा पी रहे होते हैं आपको कि एक गैसोलीन टेस्ट
subtle notes of gasoline.
subtle. It's like why am I feeling a bit dizzy right now?
Awesome. So from there, before we wrap up, Bilal, हमने शुरू तो बात की थी that you're writing a coffee table book.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us? हमें भी नहीं पता ये तो बात.
I'm in the process of doing it and compiling it together. I wanted to do something on Karachi and how like life is over here. I mean, this is how I started my page also. I started my page around like 2014-15, and Pakistan was in the news for like all the wrong reasons. And basically, like, and I'm not going to whitewash history. It did happen. Everything did happen. Like the Peshawar attacks happened. Malala did get shot in the head. Even our cricket team was being badnaam for like a bunch of betting scandals. So like, what happened was like the Western media became obsessed with this one crazy Pagal Pakistan image and everything. And we were all, I felt like even us as like regular Pakistanis, we were all dehumanized, you know, like, and हमें बस देखना ही शुरू कर दिया था ऐसे कि ये बस अजीब पागल type लोग हैं. So that's how I started my page, and my page was basically just it was like a way to open up a window for the outside world to come and get to know us. And I just used to show like everyday life, like people going out on the beach, someone just going out on a date, just like regular life. And that is what I want to put together into a book form, so that like people could just, you know, just get to know, okay, what's life like, and why Karachi specifically, because I live here, and basically because Karachi is a microcosm and a snapshot of what Pakistan life is like, because you get everything, a bit of everything over here. So yeah, that's what I'm in the process of compiling together.
Awesome. Nice. And you're a keen traveler. So yes. Another tip that you could give our listeners is that whenever you travel, say you have 2 days in a new city, how do you decide what food to attack in that limited period? How do you do your research?
Food to attack. So basically, I do a little bit of research. I ask around यहाँ क्या scene है, क्या नहीं है, and everything. So वो तो पता चल जाता है पहले. And then उसके लिहाज से, because I am very badly lactose intolerant, so I put my dairy into one corner. I was like, अच्छा dairy अगर करना है तो risk किधर में और कितना ज़्यादा risk लूँगा, ठीक है? Cannot do dairy back to back, ठीक है? Because फिर वो हो जाएगा like काफी फड्डा हो जाएगा, ठीक है? तो अंदरूनी मसला हो जाएगा. So that kind of thing. But yeah, like but do make a list, and I always like, because I मुझे ये भी नहीं होता कि मैं बहुत इतना ज्यादा खा लूं कि जो है ना, like आपने enjoy नहीं किया. I like put down 3 things. I was like 3 चीजें क्या खाऊंगा, that way I can savor it, taste it, and probably even review it more accurately. But nisbat ke like you're like eating like 10 foods in one go. I feel like आपको कोई taste याद भी नहीं रहना है, आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा अच्छा क्या है बुरा क्या है, and like बस आपको कहने को हो जाएगा हाँ मैंने खा लिया, but उसकी वैल्यू नहीं रहती. So that's what my opinion is. हाँ.
Fantastic.
And the last one would be a tip that you, because you do take a lot of food photography as well as street photography. What is one thing that you do look at, apart from, of course, fixing your camera?
More than anything, I actually look at the story and behind it. कि यार इस तस्वीर से मैं आपको story क्या बताऊंगा या क्या बताना चाह रहा हूँ. And that is when I will then fix the camera, take the picture and everything. Because and I was like, is it worth the story to take this picture to put it out? Then I take the picture. One I don't. कई दफा आपको कई चीजें नजर भी आती हैं and you're like, oh, it's a pretty frame, it's a nice frame. But I was like, what's the story that I can tell behind it? कभी कभार there's no story. It's just a nice picture. I don't take it then. I was like, मैं क्या बताऊंगा इसके through? But like if there's something, I was like, okay, I can tell something behind this. Like when I did a post on Nihari, so I brought like Nihari का cultural context, connection with Delhi and everything. I was like, ये story बन सकती है. And then I take the picture and then I post it.
Awesome. Perfect. So on that nice happy tip note, एक काम करते हैं कि हम दुकान बंद कर देते हैं. आज की गप्पे बहुत हो गई हैं और चाय फिर दुकान करते हैं बंद, चाय वाय डालें और पॉडकास्ट सुनिए आप. तो चलिए दुकान करते हैं बंद.